What's up, guys? As you saw in the last video with the razzle dazzle here, it didn't go so well on the dyno. We were 3 pulls in and we heard a noise. We investigated what it was, and we eventually put a bore scope into cylinder number 1, and it turns out something is inside of there, and we need to pull the head off of this thing and take a look at what's wrong and see how bad the damage is. We're hoping it's nothing too serious, but there could be some damage to the head depending on what is in the cylinder. Could have been a valve, could have been something that was loose and got in there. We're just not sure yet, and it is just me here today. Wyatt flew back yesterday, so I'm gonna do my best to get as much progress done on this thing as I can, and I'm hoping we can pull the head off with the engine still inside of the buggy, but there's a chance I might have to pull the whole engine and transmission out of this thing just to get to everything, because our main issue is right here where this frame comes very close to the side of the head there. We actually can't remove either of our back coils because they hit on the frame right here. So to change our spark plugs, we have to loosen the whole engine and kind of lift it up a little bit, and then we're able to get those out. I'm hoping I can loosen everything up and we can shimmy all of that stuff out of there, and I might be able to get the head off with it still inside of there, but I'll just have to unbolt everything and see where we're at. But without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and start wrenching on this thing, get her pulled apart here, and see what we find on the razzle dazzle. All right, guys, I got the engine out of the razzle here. Turns out it was a pain to leave it in there. So I just went ahead and unbolted everything and spent the extra time to pull it all out as one unit. And as you saw, we got the head pulled off and we found our issue right here. That little guy was in piston or cylinder number 1. It's just a little chunk of aluminum, and that had to have come from our factory cast pistons when the original motor blew up. It must have been hiding in the intake, and it found its way into the cylinder there, and we cleaned out this intake really good, so we didn't think that that would be an issue. We even shook it around, but this thing just had to be in there hiding somewhere. But made its way into the cylinder like we said, and that is why it would lock up when we were trying to set the timing while it was on the dyno. And luckily there appears to be no major damage, so there's no damage to the cylinder walls. The top of the piston looks fine. We can just kind of clean it up a little bit, and most importantly, the bottom of the head over here looks fine. None of the valves got beat up. There's just some little speckles from this guy smashing around in there, but got that out. That is all it was.
Yeah, and that's really soft.
Yeah, it's aluminum, really so it just squishes. And it was already starting to crack a little bit.
Yeah, it would have been just a little bit till it was beat up and just not even in the hole.
If the timing belt didn't come loose and we never even noticed, it might have just blended that thing up and shot it out the exhaust, and we would have never even noticed. But I mean, it also could have got like wedged under a valve or something. So it's probably good that we got it out of there. It's not good either way, but we got lucky, boys. Nothing major. So we are going to have to wait a couple days before we get all of this back together, because I'm going to wait and get new head gaskets as well.
Get some Honda ones. Yeah,
get some OEM ones. We just use some Felpros that aren't the best, and we're also going to pull this other head off to just double check, make sure there's nothing in those cylinders as well. And we want to put some new gaskets on there since we took them apart. I mean, it's good to yeah, it's already out of there. It's good to just get some new ones on there.
Everything for a reason.
Yep. So, and as you guys can tell, I got some tape on my finger, so I'm calling it good for today, because I crunched the tip of my finger off in the breaker bar. It freaking hurt. This guy right here. So if you look at that little gap right there, I was going to take the head loose and my finger was in there. And when I put pressure on it, it got caught in that hole and literally chomped a chunk of my finger, and it freaking hurt. So
gotta take care of yourself.
Yep. I'm calling it good there for today. Got to get these head gaskets on the way, and then it looks like we'll be able to slap her back together though.
Yeah.
Get it running again. Not a big deal.
Well, we're back on the dyno and see if we can make that 500.
Yep. It's happening, boys, but we're going to get back on this thing here in the next couple days. Get her all back together.
Cool.
But I'm calling it for today. let my finger recover.
Yeah. What a dick.
All right, guys, it's been a couple days and we have 2 brand new head gaskets here, so we can go ahead and get this thing put back together. These are not the OEM style head gaskets that we wanted to get, but for some reason, all of the dealerships are out of stock on the head gaskets, and it's gonna take like a week for them to come in. And I really don't want to wait that long, so I just ordered some more Fel-Pros from the local parts store. The reason why we would rather not run these and run an OEM style head gasket is they use a different coating on these Fel-Pros. These are blue when the OEM style is black. And for whatever reason, these don't hold to high boost levels as well. We're not pushing a whole bunch of power out of this thing, so we think we should be fine. They're both multi-layer steel style gaskets and we should be fine. So we're just gonna go ahead and get those guys on there. Waited a couple days for those to come in, and now we're ready to get everything reassembled here. I just wanna see this thing back up and running, and I don't have too much time while I'm back in Colorado. So just gotta get on it, boys. And I went ahead and got the other head pulled off this side right here, just to make sure nothing is inside of those cylinders, and we are looking good to go there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start setting up the GoPro time lapse, and I'm just gonna start whipping this thing back together because we don't got too much time to waste and get this thing back up and running. So let's get to it. So I just got one of the cylinder heads back on there with the brand new gasket. It is all torqued down, ready to go. But before I continue, I just wanted to mention that I did also take an air compressor and I cleaned out completely around each of these pistons, making sure there's no bits of metal in between the side of the piston and the cylinder wall there, because bits could fill in between that gap right there. So got all that stuff blown out, just getting it cleaned out as best I can. And another thing on the gaskets is, if these were the OEM style gaskets and not Fel-Pros, I would have 100% just reused the ones that were already on there because they were so fresh. But usually if we torque down a head and run the motor, if it ever has to come apart, I just like to put a brand new head gasket on there because I don't like to risk it. And that's why I'm just doing 2 brand new Fel-Pros. But if they were the OEM ones, I would have trusted them. It had like hardly any runtime on this thing, and I was debating just sending the other ones because it probably would have been fine. But there's just that little part inside of you that doesn't want to reuse a head gasket. At least I feel that when I reuse them. So just went ahead, got a couple new ones on there. Let's go ahead and get this all put back together. All right, just got the timing belt put on. Everything is looking good. We have our new timing belt tensioner as well. And then if you look right here, I added this pin to the plunger. It's kind of dark in there, but there's this little pin right here. I just bent the edges around so that pin can't fall out. And what that helps with is it limits how far that plunger can actually travel back. And it's kind of just a safety feature, so we know we'll never fully lose tension again, because that pin will catch before that plunger can fall all the way back inside of there. So pinned it, ready to go. Get our plastic front cover on there, get the pulley on there, alternator belt, tighten the alternator, valve covers need to go back on, and we are just about ready to drop this thing back into the buggy. All right, guys, she is all back together. There's a couple more things I just need to get tightened up, like the axles and stuff, but I got everything on there that it needs to fire up and run, and we are about to test fire this thing once again. And something else I forgot to mention is the intake's back on there, but we actually pulled this apart. My dad was over here helping me. If you saw him in the video, that's who that was. And he got this pulled apart because we never pulled these end tanks off from when the other engine blew up, just to make sure there was no more shrapnel in there. And there was just these other couple little bits right here, but I mean, those are enough to do what we just had. So yeah. Make sure you clean your intakes out really good. We blew it out and stuff, but we never actually fully tore it down, and there was some bits still hiding in there. We got all that cleaned out, and now we are going to go ahead and see if this thing will fire up. I did crank it over. Everything sounds good. It doesn't lock up anymore.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And another thing, when it was on the dyno, is the starter relay took a crap on us, so I have to jump this thing with the screwdriver real quick till we fix that. But everything else should be good to go. So you want to take this?
Yep, let's go.
Go ahead and...
This is going to be awesome.
No, I figured we could just hand it. Yeah, just grab onto it. Okay, see what happens.
All right. Sure, that makes sense.
You said there was an exhaust leak you heard or something?
Yeah, down here, there was a leak right there. The V-band must not be lined up.
Why not?
It was puffing smoke out of it.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, look at that. All right, but it runs.
Yep.
Did it run, I guess.
It sounds good. No clacking or nothing.
I'll finish tightening everything up.
Very cool. Yeah. At least you know now, so you don't need to tear it back out.
Yep.
Very cool.
All right.
Razzle's about to be back.
It's been a long 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Getting parts for this stupid thing.
He's been running all over town looking for head gaskets and parts and.
Yep. She's almost there though.
Yeah, you guys did good.
Another like half an hour of buttoning it up and it should be good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
I'll get to it. All right, boys, it is time. I got the Razzle Dazzle all buttoned up. She is ready to go back on the dyno. I'm wasting no time. We are either gonna make some power right now or something else is gonna happen, but hopefully all goes well because I really don't have too much time. I'm leaving back for Florida here soon, so if we have another major issue, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get this thing pulled back apart and fix whatever, so hopefully I did everything right this time around. We got the intake cleaned out. Hopefully those Fel-Pro head gaskets hold up, and we're just gonna throw her on, see what happens. But I'm hoping for like 500 horsepower, and just cross your fingers, boys. I'm praying this goes smooth. The Razzle has been such a pain. The last 2 weeks working on this thing, man, she has not been easy, but I have not given up, and we are going to feed some boost into this thing, and we're gonna make some power. I think it's gonna go good. I'm feeling confident. Let's get her on the dyno. All right, guys, Razzle is back on the dyno. Hopefully this time it goes smooth.
Right where we left off.
No more bits of metal in the cylinders. Timing belt stays tight.
Yeah.
Let's try this again, guys. We also need to fix that starter relay because right now this is our starter. 74 spinning.
Spinning hard.
So just some more dino sauce?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Alright, we need more dino sauce. She's spinning. So we have a stiffer spring in there, so it's definitely making some more power now. It's starting to come up. But that sounded good. We're still together, boys. We're still going. How much was that?
12 pounds.
Now we're seeing some boost.
Yeah, it's gonna throw down some power.
Okay,
hook it up.
She's good now. So the razzle tends to drift over to the left a little bit, and we just added another strap to the middle because our other straps were to the A-arms, and this strap is actually pulling the whole body down, so hopefully we get some more pressure on the tires there, and we are saucing them up real nice so we don't spin again, because if you look at the graph, it dipped super hard right there, and that was all tire slip.
It sounded better than that.
How about timing, maybe? Sure the belt's perfect?
It should be. I double checked the timing.
It sounds good.
It sounds good.
It sounded like a lot of power.
395.
We're making some power.
It's getting there.
That's the same stuff, just kind of.
That was the same boost.
Same stuff.
So we just got a timing light plugged in it before that last pull just to make sure the timing was good, and it is. So we're looking better there.
Yep, 11 pounds of boost. We got a little more in her. I'll find a little more right now. And then we can turn the boost up.
Okay.
Wrath is coming around. So much fun.
All right, boys, she's looking good, so we're gonna go ahead and take our tee off right here. All right, our vacuum tee is now open. We are turning it up. We're hoping to break 500 right here, boys. Less. Our tee didn't help it.
It did. Let's see why.
It's probably the same boost, huh?
Exactly the same.
Same boost.
Exactly the same.
Hey,
maybe it's.
Hey, are we missing the fire ring or anything?
It seems like it must have an air leak somewhere.
Somewhere.
you can like hear it.
Do you hear boost coming out somewhere?
You hear, yeah, it just sounds like I don't know if it's just the gate's really noisy with its placement, but you hear a lot of air.
Is it in the gate? Is the issue in the gate?
It could be.
All right, so we're trying something a little dangerous here, guys. We're unplugging the wastegate completely because we're gonna see if the pressure, the back pressure inside of this tube right here is enough to overcome the spring that's in there. Because this is a V6 and we have very good wastegate priority. You can see how straight the exhaust flow goes out our gate there, right through that bend. And we might still be opening that valve without any boost to the gate at all. So we're just gonna try it here. We have a boost cut set. There's a chance it could just take off, but we have the boost cut to catch it, but then this will tell us if our springs aren't stiff enough.
That was cut. That's why it popped.
It works!
So then, why isn't it making more boost?
That's a good question.
It made plenty right there.
Plenty.
Did it hit it, you're sure?
Tea? What's that?
Turn that boost cut up.
Obviously it ran away.
So that was boost cut.
That was boost cut.
All right, well we can put it back on with a bigger tee.
Yeah, we can try it.
All right.
Because she's obviously wants something.
So with the line off of the gate, it hit boost cut right away. So that tells us that The springs are not an issue, and what we are doing now is we're actually changing the source on where the gate is actually getting its boost, because right now it is getting it from the intake manifold, and we should not be doing it this way. We need to have it pre-throttle body, because when the car is just idling, that is a vacuum leak. So what we're doing right now is we're actually switching compressor housings. This one has a port on it that we can tee off of, because the one on there right now is welded shut. So this will be our pre-throttle body source to the gate. We're gonna try that out, and that might be our whole issue.
There we go.
444.
Better?
All right, let's see what happened.
444.
444. Lucky number. Everyone get your lottery tickets. 444. 13 pounds.
We just need a little more.
We need 2 more pounds.
Alright guys, we added one more T. Definitely need to get a boost controller on this thing, but for tonight, this will work.
So
467.
Get there.
close.
Alright, toss the boost.
Ah, come on. Give it to us. We asked nicely. 15 pounds.
15.
That was the goal for me to get boost wise. So any more is on you.
I guess we can try just a little bit more.
Okay.
Leave it there. Spinning.
It hit boost cut a couple times.
I hit the cut once.
It hit the cut.
Well then just barely blip it up.
Barely.
Barely blip up the cut. 531.
I can move the cut.
Spinning.
Fun.
Spinning, I told you.
Hard.
It needed some dino sauce.
Playing in there, right? It goes right to the limiter.
It feels violent as shit.
You think that's the tire or clutch?
I don't know.
Goes right to the limiter.
Where's your clutch feel right now?
The top.
Could be clutch because the pedal's all the way at the top.
23 pounds of boost made right there.
I mean, 23 pounds might be too much for those tires.
It might just be too much power for
The tires? Hopefully it's not the
that time
clutch.
they want to make some boost.
Hopefully it's not clutch.
I mean, it feels alright, but it does just almost flash.
Well guys, it looks like we're gonna call it there. She made 531 on the pool before those last two, and it looks like these tires just can't hook up on the dyno. This one's half off, and this is the power tire right here. It's getting pretty warm. You can see where it's actually contacting, and since this has an open diff, I believe, I think this one's just starting to roast.
Something,
and I think
yeah.
that's all she can hold, because it is a twin disc clutch that should be able to hold,
Yeah, and it
you know,
was-
over 1,000 horsepower on
And
the
it
clutch.
was loading it and making boost. It's not like boost was.
Yeah, everything's
taper
telling
off,
us the
so.
clutch is holding, so we think it is just tire slip on that guy.
If you look at the roller
look at the
there, you
stripe
can
to
see
right.
the rubber, just the stripe.
Yeah, this edge right there. So,
Wipe right off so it's fresh.
so unless we get some better tires, and a better setup here on the dyno, we're not going to be able to put any more power down. But at least she's back up and ripping. It sounds violent and nasty.
And out here it's gonna be so fast. I can't even imagine. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
so-
crazy.
It's been a long few days working on this thing, boys. I'm calling it a night there. No issues with the engine or anything like that. She is ripping.
Yeah.
And we made over 500 horsepower, which was our goal. So everything's good. I would have just liked to seen a solid pull though, without the tire
Would
slip.
have been awesome.
But we know she's making some jam.
Yeah.
She is good. So we're gonna call it there.
So violent in the car.
We got some other things to button up before I go, but she sounds freaking nasty.
That's cool.
And she's back. That is by far the most power it's ever made.
Yeah.
I mean, 500 horsepower in this thing that probably weighs like maybe 1,500 pounds.
It's gonna be insane.
It was already so nuts. It was so nuts where it was. So now it has another 150 horse. So
can't even imagine.
yeah, that is gonna call it for today, boys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll be driving this thing here soon and see what happens. Throw the paddles back on it and make sure it's not that clutch.
Yeah.
Go throw some roosts out in the field over here.
Some huge roosts. It's gonna be crazy.
See you guys.
All right. See ya.